Hi, dude.
Okay, this was a game that me and some of my first cousins played on the farm. And remember the farm, there was one building by the garage, and that was called the brooder house. And the next building over was called the chicken house. So Michelle and Jeff we'd each have a bucket, and we'd gather all the rocks, on the gravel road. And so Michelle and Jeff would climb up on the brooder house. And Teresa and I and Joy and Peggy would climb up on the chicken house. And so we would proceed to throw rocks at each other. Between the chicken house ropes and all that.
Made a great noise.
And see who could hit it.
Well, you hid behind. You hid behind.
So basically the quote that was said was, "You kids need to get down off that brooder house and quit throwing those rocks before you put somebody's eyes out."
Yeah. All right. And so, who said it? Did there were many notes? John? It was either John or Caroline.
My dad was not a gambler. He didn't ever swear. He was so straight, it was almost sickening. He went to Las Vegas and he put some money in one of these machines. And money just started coming out and just pouring out and pouring out. And he says, "Oh, damn, I broke the machine."
You're an outlaw tonight.
Tell when you realize that grown-ups swore and drank too.
Stand up.
Okay.
Stand up.
What? This will
Oh,
be
really, Dad? You were advising on this. I don't know. It was always kind of happening. That's what I like to tell. It'd probably have to be, for me, the most memorable Carson moment was probably down at George's cabin at the lake. It's probably about the 5th year that we went down there. God, I don't know. With all those coolers piled around the front door. I go through each one. It's like, I'm looking for a Coke. Nope, that's beer. Nope, that's vodka. Nope. Alright, where's the Coke at? Oh, it's in the fridge. Okay. And they consequently, I know everyone curses since I was a little kid.
Okay.
Truth or consequence? When was the first time you got stopped by a cop and why?
Perfect.
What?
You can just get another.
It applies.
I was a junior in high school, and I was having it was a Friday, and I was with, I think, 5 of my friends, and one of my more affluent friends has a house on Lake Lotawana. It's a really big house, and I was very excited to go. And on the way out there, it's like 45 minutes away. I was going pretty fast. It was kind of on a side road, and I think I was going like 60, and it was a 45, so I got pulled over, and it wasn't a big deal. But then I took a hard left to get off the road so that he would, be able to come up behind me and be good. But he took that as I was trying to evade. So he called 3 more cop cars, and I got pulled out at gunpoint. It was like sleeting a little bit. I was sitting down, I rolled down my window, I had my license and registration, and I was ready to go. And he just threw that on the ground and took me out and just forced me on the car. And then it was...
What happened next?
I had two 30-packs Miller Lite in the back, 2 DiGiorno pizzas, an Xbox 360. I was gonna have a very good time. And then, so he takes me back. Eventually, it was like 6 sheriffs total. And then I got put in a tiny jail cell for like 3 hours. And I got to call my dad, and my friend was also arrested, who was next to me, but his father came earlier. And took so it was just me for a little bit, and then my dad finally showed up, and then as we were leaving, as he got me out, he said, are we going to get that beer back? The sheriff said, no, we're going to use that as evidence. And my dad said, that's a shame.
Nice job.
And she always says that if the boys, you know, we don't worry about reading, but if the boys never get called because the boys have been arrested, that they can just spend the night in jail. And I'm like, Brenda, this is the big city. This isn't Hamilton, Kansas, where, you know, the jail is like a single room, and, you know. And she's like, no, you know, you just better hope that if that happens, that you answer the phone. Because if I answer the phone, and this went on for years, and we don't argue a lot, but we argue about it. Well, Riley calls, Brenda answers the phone, and she goes, I believe this is for you.
We'll give you a who said it card.
Special category.
Tractor?
Special later category. Okay.
You know, in the Army, I had the glory of going down to Camp Crowder and learning to climb telephone poles. And we did telephone open wire maintenance. And I think it was each week, right next door to us, an engineering group would have a graduating class. And they'd have a little ceremony and give them credit, pass out a certificate and whatever. And about every other week, our group would go over and do a little demonstration for these engineers to tell them how to set a big pole. And so we'd set a little 30-foot pole, anchor it, and then we'd use that as a crane to lift about a 50-foot pole. We kept a hole over there we never did fill up, and we'd drop a big pole down the hole. And then we'd use a pipe post and make it plumb, and then we'd stand back and admire. And somebody said, well, do they ever climb that pole without anything on it? And I said, well, I could go up and sit on it. And, the battalion first sergeant happened to be there to see the ceremony that day, and he said, if you do that, I'll get you a 3-day pass. So I couldn't pass that up. So I climbed up, and if you could just imagine climbing up a pole with nothing on it. We got up there, and of course I got up about this high with my hands on top of the pole. And so I just kind of eased up and sat on the pole, and that was fine. But then I had to come back down. And that was the tough part, getting started down again.
How's Derek?
Very carefully.
But you made it?
Very carefully.
And you got a 3-day pass, is that right? Okay.
We went out to see Apple, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, at least 15 years ago.
Yep.
And it was 4th of July, it was hotter, God, it was so blazingly hot. And they had some parade in this little bitty town, Elkhart, Kansas. And so we're walking back over to get some air conditioning. And we walk by this John Deere dealership. And I'm a city boy, I've never seen these kind of vehicles. And there is a tractor sitting out there that's one of those, it's got those, you know, it's like 4-wheel drive tractor, the tires are like this high, and you got to climb a ladder, kind of like the belt buckle we were just looking at later. And you climb up in there, and I'm like, this thing is amazing. So I run over and I climb up in it, and he's hanging around, he tries to keep an eye on me because I don't want to get trouble. So I climb up in there, and the keys are and I'm like, this is incredible. It's like one of the water. And if you touch, I don't know, if you touch just touch the wheel on this, and this tractor would jump like a spider. It had like 8 huge tires on it. And I'm like, well, I better turn this thing off and get out of here. It wouldn't turn on. You know, in every car, you turn the key and you turn the key. You doesn't turn it off. And I'm like, and by that time he shows up, he's like, what are you doing? I'm trying to get out of here without getting hit. The tires would come in together, so I couldn't get out. So Brian's like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. And so he says, I'm going to climb up in there, but don't touch the wheel. Keep the pressure. And I'm thinking, oh. And he gets up there, and there's a kill switch underneath it, which I didn't know. So he did that. And he was berating me all the way back to Apps. What is wrong with you?
I really had no idea what to expect at all. And everybody's first day was very nice. Everyone was very pleasant to me.
That's the first day.
And then that night, we're going to our room, and I kind of expected, since we were newlyweds, that we'd get our own little room. But we get bunk beds for Father and Pat in the other set of bunk beds.
You're in a lot of good company.
Time might tell. Tyler and Parker are pretty much my cohorts in the Carson world, which is kind of great. That was a couple years ago at when we were up in Kansas City.
No.
I don't know. It was at the YMCA camp. I'm sure somebody remembers the name. Anyway, we were out there, and I had just gotten done with Stanford Scout camp, and I just got back up there, and it was my first experience with an adult beverage. And let's say Parker was my guy. God, he did. It was less of me having an experience rather than me trying not to get him to kill himself. We ran all over that camp. We hit golf balls in the woods. He untied a boat and we started to float across the lake. He tried to take a bike up a set of stairs. It wasn't even his bike.
Then he gave it back.
I think he did put it back. I'm not sure. It was fuzzy. But I remember we started off that night, bound and determined to find the zip line. We never did. And I can say this: there were no broken boats. Yeah, that's. And I just remember doing jumping jacks outside one of the cabins where one of the pitch games was going.
Is breast your cards. Breast your cards. What does it mean, maybe, would be first, somebody could say, and then who said it?
What does it mean? It means make sure your card keeps it.
Yeah, I think it was Mabel. Well, you have to know the answer.
That's what we're going with.
It was a pitch game at the council road. They were always, yeah. Well, no, she left that one.
She took her cards to the bedroom.
Her cards to the bedroom. That's my cards when I'm going to bed. Mabel. Oh, Mabel. And then the other one was someone was inquiring about my mother's cooking skills and how she made things. Because everybody knows she's a good cook. And so I think they were probably videotaping her and annoying her when they asked this question. But she said she just mixes shit and water.
Tell a family saying you've never heard anywhere else. This is in the Dunn family, but stop, grab, and go.
We never so late.
Us three kids were very messy kids, and our rooms were always dirty. And when we leave a mess, we would go away and forget about it, not clean it up. So my dad made the saying, if you see something that needs to go somewhere, stop, grab it, and go take it where it needs to go if you're going that way. And we never did that.
Yeah, stop, grab, and go. See you later.
Jim, is this a surprise to you?
No, I've said this a trillion times, and it's like, I'm not even asking you to go out of your way. If you're in the living room and you're going in the kitchen, take the bowl that you brought into the living room 2 hours ago.
Question so they know what it is.
Where were you when JFK was shot?
Oh.
I think I probably on the map. You're on the map. Heard it on the radio.
You heard it on the radio? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright, so Noah was at our house for a little while, and I walked, and he and I were there alone because I had to do something. They abandoned me. And so I walked into the kitchen, and Noah has the refrigerator open, and he's like searching it. And he's not taking anything out, he's just like looking in the fridge. He shuts the door. He like feels it. He opens the freezer. I'm like, what are you doing, Noah? He goes, well, I'm looking for water. And I point to the faucet. It's right there. No, that's hand washing water. Where's the drinking water? I point to the faucet again and I say, it's right there. No, that water's dirty. I can't drink that water. No, there's nothing wrong with that water. No, well, how did it get here? It was a pipe, Noah. Well, how do you know the pipe wasn't dirty? The pipe wasn't dirty. I mean, well, what if an animal came and poops in the pipe? And so we go back and forth on this for a while. I just give up. There's no other way to get water. And then I think, well, unless you take ice from the freezer, put it in a cup, and wait for it to melt. I'll do that. I put ice in a cup and I set it on the counter. The next day, he came back and drank the water.
I know this by inference.
Oh, yeah.
Explain the phrase, no broken bones. So this refers to my cousins on the west of the side of town, where I believe automotive safety is a lifestyle. Going along gravel road and going around the corner, and I think the doors flew open as they went around the corner, and about 35 miles an hour on a gravel road, and a bunch of kids flopped around in the back seat. And I think at the end of the scenario was, well, no one got hurt, no broken bones, it's all good. So.
No broken bones, no foul.
Is that where it started? Out the door into another oncoming lane of traffic.
But there's no traffic.
It was a gravel road, so there's no traffic, fortunately. And we were going to see, I think the Mitchells were in town, and I just woken up from a nap, and my mom had said, you know, roll down the window or do something. So I went to roll down the window and I grabbed the door handle and I went out and Bruce comes running up going, you look like an astronaut.
In my defense,
She did.
when time slows down in those situations, she kind of tumbled out of the car and just like this in the air and go, wow. Hey, I was in the front seat, she was in the back seat, I had nothing to do with the door.
And last time I had any broken bones.
And ever since, she's been angry.
And I remember going to a wedding, and the wedding went, I don't know, I guess it went well, and the bride got into the car when it was time to go, and the husband said, the new husband said, stay there, don't get out. And it took the husband so long to get the lights fixed and everything, so the bride and groom could leave. So the bride got out. You all look so puzzled. You all know this story. The bride got out to see what in the heck was happening to the groom, and the father-in-law of about 5 minutes grabbed the bride, and the brother-in-law of about 5 minutes grabbed the bride, took her clear across town, and made her walk back to the church in her high heels and, you know. And the town was just kind of shocked that the father-in-law stole the bride. What?
You were shocked?
What was funnier is when we went to Erlena's wedding, and I mean, bus held on to her like crazy. He wasn't going to let her go. Dennis just let me go.
I told you to stay in the car and you didn't do it.
Who was the first man on the moon? Well, we all know the first man on the moon. Does anyone know the second man on the moon? Anybody know the first one? Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Who's the second man on the moon?
Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Aldrin and I had dinner together in Joplin, Missouri, 3 years ago. And what an experience that was, to sit down and talk to him about his experiences flying the moon and back. Little bitty guy, he's about this tall. He was a fighter pilot. All those guys were small. Armstrong's not very big.
but they were all fighter pilots before they became in the space program. Helen Guy, still alive, and he was the second man on the moon.
Didn't he come?
Very good.
He was the third man in the capsule.
Oh, no. Collins, yep.
Michael Collins.
The asterisk, my baloney has a first name, it's Oscar. I should certainly hope so. I don't know what baloney you all ate, but that's my age.
Do you remember the old commercial? Does everybody remember? That was the question.
I actually got the commercial.
And you have to fill it in. It's OSC. Okay. And
They can sing it.
Sing it for 3 points. Okay. Okay, he wants to hand a question to Bill to answer, which is, just read it to him.
What day is D-Day?
December 7th, 1941.
Woo! A date that will live for me.
Oh my God.
And this is Blair.
We have got some great stories for next weekend.
We do. Okay. Next.
Oh
All right. Ready? Go.
Go.
We have to.
You don't have to. You should. What game you
Same game. That's nothing. That's no big deal.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the same.
oh, that's no big
Really?
deal.
Yeah.
Well, then why did I have another couple?
Oh, snap!
Mom, bring it, sugar mama. You ready to show what you got?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Between the sheets. Who's next?
What you got?
I'm in for 5 more.
Oh, just 5?
Yeah. Just 5.
Oh, just
5.
It's funny how we know what's going on. 5, and I'll raise you 5.
Got a badass over here.